All right, impeachment drama, part 2. I said back in, November of 2019, I told you exactly how impeachment was going to pan out, that nothing was going to come of it, and Trump was going to be running for re-election in 2020. This impeachment drama makes even less sense because the President of the United States will no longer have his term come noon on Wednesday of next week. That's less than a week from now. And so there's nothing that's coming of this other than a lot of politicians strutting around like peacocks, just like the last time. And I don't know why so many people are fascinated by dramatic situations where you already know how they're going to end. There's no drama involved when you know how this story ends. And this story is going to end with Joe Biden being inaugurated on January 20th. And there's not going to be an impeachment of Donald Trump. They're not going to and somehow keep him from running in 2024. The votes aren't there. So I don't understand why we're going down this pathway yet again of what I feel like is just a long path of showmanship, regardless of what you think. And I would just circle back around to this. We spent months in the summer with Democratic politicians encouraging people all over the country to riot and protest and fulminate discord. In fact, the soon-to-be Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, paid out money to people who were arrested. Can you imagine the reaction to get them out of jail? Can you imagine the reaction if Donald Trump posted bail for anybody that had been arrested in the Capitol uprisings? People would lose their minds over his doing that, yet almost no one said anything about all the politicians and all the celebrities who were donating gobs of money to pay the bail for people who were arrested for violating the law while protesting. And so I don't get this. My one hope is that maybe people have now circled back around to being a violent protester is actually something that should be punished under the law. You have a right to protest. You don't have a right to break the law. And I've been saying that for months. I said it all through the summer. And for the people who broke the law last Wednesday, they should have consequences for their behavior as well. But this idea that somehow Donald Trump is responsible for this, I don't buy it, frankly. I looked at all of the comments. I read the transcript of everything he said at the rally. To me, there's a lot of blame to go around, including the District of Columbia mayor, Bowser, who made the decision not to have substantial amounts of security present for this rally. If they had had normal amounts of security present, in fact, if they had done, ironically enough, what Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton had suggested, which is use the military to help restore order, then none of this would have happened. And the real irony here is, if you remember when Tom Cotton, the senator from Arkansas, wrote a New York Times editorial suggesting that the military should be called in to provide stability and security in the midst of all the protests this summer, they actually fired the editor of the New York Times editorial page for allowing that opinion to be shared on their editorial page. Now, it's what Washington, D.C. is doing. And there's virtually no criticism of that decision. In fact, everyone is now saying, oh, why wasn't the military called in before to prevent this from ever happening? And this is what I believe goes to the essence of the issues that are at the root of so much that is going wrong in America today. It's that we don't have a consistent standard rule of law that is applied regardless of your identity, regardless of your political leanings. Everyone has to be treated the same under the law. That's the entire purpose of precedent. You can't justify what someone does because they're a Democrat and you're a Democrat, and you can't justify what someone does because you're a Republican and they're a Republican. And this is what I've been saying for years. That's why I always say, I'm going to put my lawyer hat on here and talk about the importance of precedent and not being a hypocrite in the way you respond to issues. And so going forward, we need, I believe, more consistency, not less. Apply the same rules to everyone. That's where all of the animus is coming from. There are people out there, and I think they're legitimately correct, that are saying, wait a minute, The response to last Wednesday is totally different than the response to months of rioting that was going on in the streets. And they're right. And so if you can't have a consistent path, that's why we have written laws so that people are aware of what is allowed and what is not allowed. And if you can't go ahead and punish people who violate the law, regardless of their background or regardless of their political beliefs or regardless of their identity, then you don't have a functional rule of law. And you delegitimize all actions being taken by the government unless they're being taken by your side of the government. Which is why I circle back around here and say we need to have established clear precedents. And the media is a big part of this because the media is not calling balls and strikes anymore. They are involved in the game themselves, right? And the judge, if you remember the metaphor, I think that Judge John Roberts used is the courts should be an umpire. They should be ensuring that the rules are being applied evenly. They shouldn't be involved on the field of play. And I think what's changed in a big way in the last several years as social media has risen up is all of the people who are in media that are supposed to be non-biased and are supposed to be just reporting the news, you have been able to see that they are not, in fact, unbiased observers of the news. They are not referees. They are not umpires. They are playing on the field and slanting the results as a result of those actions. And so this is pretty straightforward to me. This whole impeachment drama is without any legitimacy to me. The president's going to be gone on January 20th. Joe Biden is going to be sworn in. And the idea that Donald Trump should be impeached is a broken, I believe, broken idea that reflects how broken our system of government and our media at many times is, based on the fact that we're not applying clear principles and standards regardless of who is involved.